Liberation Day, part 2. No, it's actually part 1 today because it's not April Fool's, man. What's good, boys?
Yo.
What do you do when blood's in the street, man? You fucking buy, dude. Ultimate generational buying opportunity for our young 20-something friends, man. This is like, this is it, dude.
I was looking at the DeFi AI charts today. Oh my God, dude. It is even worse than yesterday was.
Just when you didn't think it could go lower, it can still go lower, bro. On the road to zero, it can go lower, man. This is crazy, dude. It is what it is, man. Bloodbath.
It makes me wonder when the bottom of this market actually comes in. Maybe it's when the engagement starts coming back, just generally, because engagement is down horrendously too.
Does engagement follow like interest though? It feels like
for
you gotta
sure
have something interesting happen, right, for engagement to come back. Like something has to like really pop. No idea what that's going to be.
Well, I was looking at like what are the kind of trending ecosystems right now to participate in, and it's kind of like the same ones we've been talking about. It was AI, Kaido, Era ecosystem, Abstract, and there's like one other one. I think Era, Abstract, and Sonic seems to be like the other one. I don't know. Is there, Chris, is there any other ecosystems you've been paying attention to? It seems like that's kind of, those are the 5 narratives right now.
Yeah, it's kind of in. I think a lot of people are watching Monad.
Are they actually going to launch it?
I think so. That's like a lot of people are farming for airdrop right now.
I mean, it's all just farming, dude. It's like, yeah.
Have you guys checked on Ethos? How's Ethos, Adam? Or maybe Farcast?
No, I mean, yeah, I've been on there. I mean, you know, it's funny how the human brain works, right? It's like the streaks, you know, like my kid with his, I don't know, whatever what's the app with the streaks? Snap. Yeah, I got a 4-year streak going. I want to break that streak, you know. So I have like a 30 some odd day streak going on there, and it's just like, do I want to break the streak? So I'll still go on there for, you know, a minute every night to do my little task thing. It's just the way we work as humans, right? But but it's just to me, none of this is interesting stuff like farming, ethos or whatever. They took a big hit this past week because they rejiggered their algorithm for, to rejigger everybody's points, because they saw what was happening, which was people were gaming it. There were huge groups of people just gaming the shit out of it. I mean, I said it on the first time I was on a space with the dude. I'm like, bro, who's this leaderboard? This leaderboard, I know 3 people on this leaderboard. I don't know any of these people, right? And not to say that some of them aren't legit, but there were people literally with like accounts where they had private accounts were on the like top 100 leaderboard. And I was like, dude, this is insane. And so they rejiggered it. And I think it bummed out a lot of people who were like big stakers in the platform. Like if I, put some ETH behind Jake, I get a little boost, Jake gets a little boost, you get like this number game. So people were staking significant amount of ETH to basically work that system. And I think they nerfed some of it. And people who'd been on there for a while were, bummed out about it on the timeline. So they took a big hit this past week. We'll see if they survive. I mean, look, this is the thing we've talked about with these socials and trying to figure out the social like metric and game. It's like you realize you're bumping up against smart people who are going to try and game this thing forever. And how can you make a reputational platform like legit? How can you make it not gamed? And it's really hard. But I know they're trying. The guys, I mean, I like the guy a lot. Talked with him many times now. I think he's legit. I think what they're trying to do is legit. But can they figure it out? Man, this is like, it's a problem since the beginning of blockchain. So we'll see.
Fuck. Yeah, dude. I just saw this Gandhi announcement for adding Taproot Wizards on Emblem.
Yeah, let's see this, man. Look at this. New collection alert.
Gandhi has been absolutely crushing the game. It's crazy the amount of attention that they've got. It's very interesting. I think there's a lot more ordinal collections that are going to be coming online from Gandhi. They're going after high value assets. There was another lending platform that reached out to me for listing another ordinals collection. So I think from the Bitcoin ecosystem community, the chain abstraction idea and cross-chain is becoming a lot more relevant. Even though the idea of bridging NFTs may not be obvious to most. Conversation.
I bumped into it yesterday in the private. I won't share who it was, but let's just say I talked with someone who's big in the AI agent space. Kind of connect, because you never know what's going to be like a really good opportunity. And we all know that, the one who wins is probably going to be one big winner and then a whole bunch of little like side players, right? So forming these relationships, who knows what can happen. And I told him what we did, and I told him about NFT bridging. And he said to me, why would anybody want to bridge NFTs? Like, and this is not somebody who's not significant in the space. Like, he is significant in the space and literally has no clue about NFT bridging. And it's interesting. Just I'm continually reminded how all of us get completely siloed in our own little understanding and don't understand that there's like billion-dollar opportunities out here that you just have no idea are happening, right? It was a reminder again, just how, you can't know everything, and to just kind of always be in the keep learning stage, keep educating yourself, because there's whole worlds out there that have crazy opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely is. That leads to the question: at what point does bridging NFTs become obvious?
I mean, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead and give you your.
Just when people need to use it, it's a good perspective from someone in the AI agent space. That they should understand something like that, because agents sit in the middle of all these different chains. So for them to go cross chain, they would need to bridge by default. So if you want your agent to be cross chain by default, he needs to bridge NFTs, because just like liquid assets, he needs to communicate cross chain. So if anyone should get something like that, it might be the AI agent space. But for that to still be a blind spot, I think it's pretty bullish for the Emblem stack.
Totally. I mean, this is, I've been now diving even deeper all across the board here. And it's like, some of the teams that are working on this, it's they're very much working on this. How can I yield farm and get my AI agent to give me an extra half a point over the course of a year, or 1 point extra? Like, they're literally in the TradFi world. Like, how can I get from 5% return on my money, on my coins, to 6%, right? And how can the AI agent manage that for me? While be completely oblivious to, like, well, Jesus, I want to take $100,000 my loan on my, on a couple crypto punks or whatever, completely oblivious to this like multi-decabillion dollar like asset class, which is crazy to think that they don't realize it, but we realize it because we see it happening all the time. When I told the guy, like, dude, we did, whatever, 35,000 ETH in trading, guy's like, what? Who did what? What are you talking about? So this is just, blind spots all over the place. But yeah, the opportunity is certainly there. It's good to see Gandhi. I mean, I'm going to pass him this one after the show. It's like, it's so obvious to people who collect and trade NFTs, but
yeah. I mean, couldn't have said it any better. I'm talking with the Gandhi team right now. I'm going to see what else they want to list. In other news, staying on, I guess, the theme of the Bitcoin ecosystem, I saw something interesting today. The guy who created OrdiScan, I think his name's Tyler. I created an MCP server so that you can plug in you can use an AI assistant to learn about ordinals. I think this is really the first instance I've seen really of anybody in the ordinals ecosystem leveraging AI. Obviously, we've talked about it once we had Bitcoin support, and we'll be diving in. But what type of impacts do you think AI can have on the ordinals and Bitcoin ecosystem where it lacks smart contract functionality? And I would say it's been a quite painful experience the last 2 years for the majority of users who are participating, but still to this day have not given up on the idea of DTCFi or NFTs on Bitcoin.
What do you think, Chris, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ecosystem that I thought would have taken off, that would seem more clear. But in hindsight, it's kind of like no one on crypto Twitter or anything like this, no one really ever held Bitcoin. So it's like most of the Bitcoin is held out of the social kind of circles. So I think it's interesting that now that those social dynamics are kind of needed for influencing the markets and kind of spreading the messages, I think it's kind of it kind of makes sense that it was so slow to take off. What do you guys think?
I'm just wondering, like, with Bitcoin, this cycle's really been about Bitcoin not holding Bitcoin, as Chris just said, right? Not holding it in your own wallet. Although wallet infrastructure and all that has gotten infinitely better due to ordinals, it's still this cycle's been about holding it in your 401k, right? Holding it as an ETF. And so to be honest, it's going to be really hard for Bitcoin to come back to, the self-custody narrative. And will AI and, kind of these L2s and stuff make it easier and have the potential? Sure. But it still feels like, I don't know. It's like, why would I, if I'm going to do something where I'm basically using an L2 to trade these assets, what about the Bitcoin assets has so much more value than me just trading it on Solana or Base? Like, if it's a meme coin, I haven't seen that. It hasn't worked out for Runes, at least not yet, where the people significantly value that asset more than on Solana or Base. Certainly not from a trading perspective. I mean, we can the argument could be made for Dog because it's kind of the leader and it's been able to hold a really nice market cap. But other than that, I just think we're playing games here, not in a bad way. We're playing these games to try and figure out why we want to do this stuff. And right now, a leader hasn't kind of taken shape, other than maybe art on Bitcoin. Like, that narrative, I think, is still pretty strong. And but even that, ordinal enjoyers are just chewing their own tails on the timeline. It's brutal.
So you don't think AI can improve the ordinals or Runes ecosystem?
I don't not significantly at this time, because I don't understand why somebody would even be interested at this time. It's like, to do what? Trade meme coins? It's like, I have a easier. I don't need AI. I just get my Phantom wallet and I trade my meme coins on Solana. It's easy peasy. I mean, I think what we're building with Hustle, this is a bigger bridge and a much bigger idea. And that could just kind of seamlessly make it happen. Like, but that's
Yeah. So what does that look like if Hustle or any AI product and an agent can interact with ordinals or runes? What type of improvement does that bring, or what do you kind of foresee happening?
For me, that's very much kind of our North Star, which is it won't matter where the asset is itself. It's simply what the person wants to do. And how that shakes out with ordinals or runes or whatever, I'm not sure. A lot of it's going to be like where the user wants or needs the asset or is interested in the asset. So, for example, let's just take a simple one. I want to buy dog right now, right? Half of the timeline of dog is just like, hey, Binance list us. Hey, Binance list us, right? They're just trying to get an easy place for people to buy where people don't have to get their X first wallet. They don't have to fund Bitcoin. They just buy it, right? And so we've already seen it where they, get it on Solana. Okay, that was a step. But the AI interface with Hustle, it's just, oh, today I woke up and I saw it on the timeline. And I just want to buy it. And I just ask Hustle, hey, buy me some dog using my Solana. And it does it, right? That sort of frictionless experience, I think, across all chains is what we're building towards. So, will it impact the Bitcoin ecosystem? Yeah, because I think Bitcoin has the biggest barrier kind of for entry to any of the ecosystems.
Chris, any thoughts on how Hustle may improve the ordinals, runes, or honestly any Bitcoin ecosystem? This could be Tap. This could be Cat VM if that comes here in the near future, or it could be Counterparty, which is kind of long and lost in between.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think a lot of the way that this starts is kind of like the arbitrage opportunities, the cross-chain arbitrage opportunities, and the lending opportunities at different rates. So where you can arbitrage the different ecosystems for their different strengths. And Hustle is the way to kind of do that seamlessly, or something like Hustle. These wallet integrations, you saw Casey talking about it. It really is like having the best implementation of what we would consider like a smart wallet in today's world. Having an LLM hookup as like an adapter that can kind of navigate this cross-chain world for you is like literally the biggest unlock in crypto.
Totally.
And so, I mean, where I see it, it's just like this is just automation, and this is just really leveling the playing field for everyone. And Bitcoin infrastructure, everyone knows, is the hardest and the most annoying to deal with. So when we can bypass that as a user, that Bitcoin is the clunkiest wallet experience, and that Hustle can kind of level the playing field for between all the ecosystems, because the experience is exactly the same, then I think that's like a massive win that's kind of that's being underpriced. Bitcoin ecosystem is the hardest to transact, and Hustle makes it identical to all the other ecosystems. Obviously,
I mean, just think about how like Xverse or Leather just made Bitcoin way better, right?
Right.
The agent will be like, if that was a 3x improvement, the agent's going to be a 30x improvement on that, right?
100%.
Like that's
what one of the most annoying things is maybe waiting for confirmation times, or seeing if it's making sure that your confirmation is going to go through, but the agent's going to be able to double check that. So you can just make the transaction and walk away like any other chain, and he can, rethread it if needed, or you can kind of program him however you'd like. But that's kind of the exciting thing, is now the exact experience across all chains is instant and immediate. And I think that's kind of going to surprise a lot of people that there was that much innovation left at the wallet level. I think people are mispricing that.
Tons. The reason why I ask is over the last, I'd say 2 weeks or so in the Bitcoin ecosystem, I've started to see some early conversations on how AI can improve the Bitcoin native asset ecosystem. Obviously, Casey kind of started this, right, through his Hell Money podcast, where it talked about using, I think they were called contracts, Basically, we use AI to set out to do a very specific thing. It almost made it seem like AI would just be like pseudo smart contracts to a degree, right? You have this AI, you can create an AI agent specifically for rune splitting, right? You can have a AI agent specifically for inscribing or specifically for market making, right? Or XYZ kind of reasons. And this is what Casey said that he wanted to build, although it was more of an idea and people started talking about it. And then he was like, yeah, I haven't even started on this. This could be like years away.
I know.
Right. But what he's doing is essentially just starting the conversation of like, look, you can have this like frictionless ecosystem if you apply agents on top of it. Obviously, though, agents are kind of in its infancy of what can be done, and people really still exploring it. As you're seeing in the DeFi AI space, the majority of products don't work, right? Or have a lot of bugs or a lot of issues. This is, hustle inclusive of all of the other ones. The technology is not perfect, but there is kind of an avenue of showcasing, where this is going. AI has to improve on the agent level, right? And then all the crypto teams have to improve on the product or application type level as well. And when you bring it to ordinals, right, the big issue has been obviously block times is kind of a main one. Some people like that. It's kind of, some people say it's a feature more than a bug, but the limitation of tooling is very tough, right? There are no, I guess you would say there's no bidding ecosystem. There's no way to, sweep ordinals, although they kind of do it through the product. It's not done through like a contractual, right? So like, for example, on OpenSea, when you're bidding for an NFT, that is built directly into Seaport, which is a contractual based thing that people can use. Where if you're going to bid on Magic Eden for an ordinal, they basically just created a side Bitcoin pool and just put money there. And so it's all built on the application. What Magic Eden has as a bidding system does not translate to other marketplaces. That is like an in-house centralized kind of system. But with agents, you can essentially create a bidding system. You can create all these different types of things. And I think Chris is right where arbitrage is probably first, right? If somebody has a technical edge, they're going to exploit it for profit initially, whether that's arbitrage, right? Or just market making or something of that nature. But you see now, I saw in like the ordinal show, they were talking about AI for a segment. I saw TO has been talking about it. And then obviously we just showed that Tyler has created an MCP, which is essentially like a new type of API service for how AI agents interact with different types of data or different types of websites or applications. And for us, if you take once we add Bitcoin support, which is kind of what's being worked on over the next few weeks, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some infrastructure stuff, right? What does it actually mean where you have, let's say an Ordinals mini app and a Runes mini app, and then you're asking Hustle for context on, what are the best trades, but then also automating it to a degree, right? Having it auto split your runes and sell them, or you can have Agent Hustle kind of identify the price discrepancies between a large lot size and what the price, how much money you could make if you just bought the large lot and split it up and, increase the price like 5% on each kind of smaller lot. That's stuff that people do already, but on a very manual basis. So you can automate this, and over time it actually creates a more efficient market because now all the bricks are being, arbitraged away. All of the trading is being optimized, and it probably looks and feels a little bit more like a fungible token ecosystem that you see on smart contract platforms than it does this kind of like manual bricking and I guess you'd say NFT trading experience that currently exists today.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's Casey put it out there, but it's a million miles away from happening. Like that was my gut on what he said. And it's funny because I did listen to a portion of the podcast, And he's like, I would just want to have something that I know is real and that's already here. And I'm like, what are you what he's talking about is literally a million miles away. Like, it's not done. It's like an idea in his head. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just felt like one of these things, like where he just threw something out there that's like, I don't know. It was, I don't know. I'm not bullish. Let me put it that way. I'm not bullish, dude.
It was kind of out of the blue. It's especially if he hadn't started it. One of the cool things about Hustle, though, is that all these other agents are going to have to configure different wallet applications across chains. And Emblem Vault, our company, is a multi-chain tokenized wallet. So we already have all of the wallet infrastructure already built, which is kind of like the hardest implementation, in my opinion, of this kind of full stack. So we already have the Bitcoin wallet. Your agent Hustle already has the Ethereum wallet. He already has all of those. We just kind of need to flip on the integration, and he'll just function the same as he does throughout, like, his Solana wallet. So that's just like such a big edge that is kind of also underpriced, is that it'll be the exact same experience. We don't have to lean into the other wallet providers or anything like that. We have our own wallet infrastructure that's been battle tested for years already.
Yep.
That's non-custodial too. There was actually an interesting question with one of our AI developers of building out this DCA tool where, if you've ever used a DCA tool, if you want to take, we'll say, one SOL and DCA it into something, you have to actually deposit it into a contract, right? And that's an escrow service, or in some places, the actual company's custody the value itself. But since our wallets are non-custodial, there's actually no kind of legal means of like requiring to be a money transmitter. And that was like one of the reasons we used the lit, was so that you don't have to deal with that, because we have no access to the private keys to any of the wallets, where a lot of the other projects use centralized services. So it's just a little bit further on the decentralized curve and gives you a little bit more of an edge. Or what I see people saying recently, a moat around your company seems to be what everyone in AI has been projecting, is what is your data moat? What is the edge? Because essentially everyone is going to have access to the same type of information. So it's like, how do you package this data through different types of tooling and then have a great output? For example, like Hustle is really good at finding tokens early. I haven't seen any other AI project be good at that, but you do see a lot of the other AI companies that are going after bridging and cross-chain swaps and more of the DeFi stuff, where we found that our edge is just finding tokens. We've done live streams where Hustle's made 100%. I saw Ratoshi yesterday made 100% over 3 different trades consecutively. So you just got to kind of really lean into what the users want, and we're going to give them what they want, right? Maybe some tokenomics here at some point this month as well. So bullish. In terms of Liberation Day, I don't know if you guys have looked at the prices, but the prices are up. Apparently Trump today said that Elon Musk is going to leave Doge, which he said at the very beginning that he was only going to be here for 130, I think he said, to 150 days. So that's coming soon. Tesla stocks is up 5% on that announcement, even though he literally said this like a week ago as well.
Yeah,
he said it like many times.
Many
And so in that terms, Bitcoin and everything is up 2% on the day, up to 87,000. It's getting close to 90, which hasn't been at a while. Let's see, let's go over like the last month. See, it's getting near. It still kind of hasn't put in a higher high yet, or higher low. But Liberation Day fears seem to have been a little bit maybe overblown. I saw Israel basically just said they dropped all of their tariffs. Mexico came out today and said that they were not adding any reciprocal tariffs. It seems like only Canada, maybe a few other small countries, are actually going to add reciprocal tariffs on the reciprocal tariffs and try to get into a trade war. I mean, there's really only one country where you could get into a trade war with that may be bad, which is China. But yeah. I know the U.S. export or the U.S. imports a lot more China goods than we export to China. So I don't know, like what other macro, my question then just leads to like, what other macro fears are there at this point? It seems like this Liberation Day was the macro kind of backdrop that everyone was terrified for. Seems to have been a little bit overblown, I guess, unless inflation seems to come back. But from the last data, it looked like deflation was actually decreasing. So does this mean that we can potentially get, a late spring run where then we just go into sell in May and go away, right? Or maybe it comes back during the summer. Chris, what's your take on where we're at?
I mean, I can't be bearish. I just can't be bearish. I mean, we have the first Bitcoin president. We have the first crypto president. His whole family's into crypto. This is clearly how they're planning on making, their fortune. We love crypto. Like, this is not the time to be bearish, in my opinion, ever, like this year. And Trump, he loves markets more than anyone. And the media hates every kind of statement that comes out of his mouth. And so you always get peak fear with Trump because the media frenzy is so intense. They just hang on every single thing that he says. So they never price in the opportunity that that it might be successful, whatever his implementations are. And they definitely don't give him like a flat chance. It's always extremely negative. So you always get peak fear with Trump, and that leaves massive upside surprise for the average investor. So, I mean, I just can't be bearish here. There's just so much of like bifurcation between institutional crypto and crypto Twitter. I've never seen it like this. Crypto Twitter is completely drawn out. I mean, they've checked out a while ago, and institutions have never been more checked in. And so I'm going to take the side of the institutions.
Totally. I mean, for me, it's like anytime you cut, massive government spending, it's actually it's bearish for like asset prices, right? A fiscally responsible government with a fiscally responsible dollar. It's not the best for your assets to go up. Like, it's just not. Like, runaway inflation is like, if you want asset prices just go up, have runaway inflation. We'll all be billionaires. Great. And my dollars can't buy shit. Like, good for that. Like, do we want that? So, I really like what's happening. It's the first time in decades I've liked what's happening in the US. So for me, I'm ultimately bullish, maybe not short term for my own bags, but who gives a fuck, right? Like, very, very bullish for not only our industry, but US in general. This is like super, super bullish. Like, this is like once in a lifetime bullishness for me. So yes, it's like if you have dry powder, this is the time when you pick up assets. There might be more blood over the next 6 months, but come midterms, I'm sure they'll turn the money printer on, and everybody's assets can have a nice run.
There's been a ton of news over the last 24 hours in terms of the crypto world. I don't know if you guys saw, but Circle officially applied for their IPO. Expecting a valuation of around 4 to 5 billion out of the gate. They had chose, who is this? JP Morgan and Citigroup to file their IPO. The public filing expected to be late April. So some point this year, Circle is going to IPO. A crazy thing is that I saw that Coinbase actually generates more revenue from Circle than Circle does itself.
Sounds like Ethereum.
Like, that's what I saw. The post was like, Base, I think, is getting the majority of the fees from Ethereum right now, and they're also getting the majority of the fees off of Circle, which makes you wonder, what is the valuation of Coinbase? Yeah. Kind of holding both of these hostage here. But Chris, 4 to 5 billion for Circle, is that undervalued? And do you think they wait until this stablecoin Transparency Act is issued before they decide to put these shares on the market?
Yeah, I think that just shows that the stablecoin bill is coming very soon. I think by 2025 year-end predictions, it was like 50 billion in IPOs. I thought Circle would go for like 8 or 10. 4 billion is cheap, I think. Talking about a way of investing in the dollar being distributed globally on the internet, that sounds like a business that I would be interested in for sure.
Yeah.
4 billion seems cheap. I'm super bullish on stablecoins. USDC has one of the best brands in the game. One of the earliest. Jeremy Allaire is not only an early internet pioneer, but obviously early stablecoin pioneer, absolute legend. Just a really well-run company that's been at the forefront of this for years at this point. So I'm a huge fan.
It's like buying Visa, back in the day.
Facts.
It's definitely got that feel to it.
4 billion. I mean, there's going to be a lot of competition that comes online in terms of stablecoins, but it's going to be USDC has such a lead,
Yeah.
USDC and Tether.
Yeah,
Tether has a massive lead on all of them. I saw somebody come out and say, what's preventing Tether from just coming in and buying a majority stake in USDC once the shares hit the public market?
I'm sure that they'll buy some. I'm sure I would definitely be buying some of that.
Tether's been diversifying a lot of their assets. They just purchased 8,888 Bitcoin the other day, and no one even noticed.
No one blinked.
No one even blinked. That's just like
light work.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the Tether thing, it's I mean, we've talked about it a bunch now, but it feels like the only risk to Tether is the US government, right? It feels like that's the only thing. Like if I don't think it's going to happen under Trump, but if somebody or the next administration, got it up their butt to go after Tether, that's like the biggest risk to Tether.
They're one of the largest T-bill holders, so that's the thing. Yeah. I think they're more of a risk to the United States. The United States is a risk to them, right? Like,
well, that's the beauty of any sort of thing like this is like you just got to get big enough that you basically become unfailable. Like they can't attack you because you're too big. And I think they've done just an incredible job of going through, the peak FUD. I guess it was probably 4 or 5 years ago when they went through massive FUD that was happening, and managed to get through it and just become the most ridiculous business maybe of all time, right? So
I mean,
them, man.
They're like the definition of anti-fragile. There's nothing that company can do at this point. There was like tens, maybe 50 accounts that made their entire personality of being like Tether truthers trying to bring down Tether.
Yep.
Complete media frenzy. No one's been fudded like Tether has over the years. They've survived complete regulatory arbitrage, jurisdictional arbitrage. I mean, to build a company under those circumstances and come out on top.
It's really incredible, really.
It's insane what they've done. And so I think if you can survive that, what they went through for the past decade, I think that it's kind of smooth sailing from here on out for them comparatively.
Yeah, I agree as well. Actually, fresh off the news of about an hour ago, the GOP committee is now considering the stablecoin transparency and accountability for a better ledger economy, the Stable Act. It's actually being debated and supported right now in the Congress and congressional session. So it seems like Circle knew this was coming, because or else they wouldn't have made it public yesterday. Now that the U.S. Congress has some legs to stand on, saying, look at this American company going public that can help export the dollar at an even faster rate than the 70% of dollars that exists outside of the U.S. already. In other macro news, this just came in that Amazon is planning to buy TikTok. What do you think of that? And what do you think? You think this is fake news? It looks, from Watcher Guru, Amazon and talks to buy TikTok. They're one of the only few companies that probably has enough capital to do this, unless it was like Apple or Microsoft. But Amazon, they have Twitch already, so
any company on earth that has the opportunity to buy TikTok should buy TikTok. So if Amazon could do it, you absolutely do it. Yeah, TikTok is literally the greatest algorithm on earth. If Bezos could pull it off, you absolutely make that buy. So we'll see. It seems like fake news to me. It just doesn't feel like an Amazon type of move at all. But
they already own Twitch, though. That's the thing. Like they're already in the social media game.
You're not wrong.
And I mean, Jake talked a lot about the TikTok shops in Denver.
Oh,
I mean, their TikTok marketplace is doing massive revenues, so it kind of does fit in with like
it's actually a fantastic call.
Amazon
You're
shops.
totally right. Totally right.
They, yeah, I don't have TikTok downloaded, but a bunch of my friends do, and they showed me the TikTok shops. Last year, it did 13 billion in sales.
Yeah.
When you look at live shopping, yeah, we talked about this a bunch in Denver. When you look at live shopping across Asian countries, specifically China, you have single influencers who are selling. I think the largest was like $6 billion in volume from one person live shopping.
That's
And the
nice.
TikTok shop, man, it's pretty interactive watching some of these people come up with their own. It's basically like their own, like Martha Stewart kind of cooking show, right? Or their own,
Like a QVC or something.
yeah, like their own little QVC kind of shops. And if it's at 13 billion now, right? If Amazon acquires it, they probably think they can 10x that market.
What do they think? Is this just going to be for like TikTok US basically, or is there any word if this is going to be like the entire global?
I think it's just
Right.
the US.
Yes, the US. Gotcha.
I suspect it would just be the US. Yeah. So, I mean, the reason why I bring this up, even though this is more of a crypto show, is just more of the uncertainty around things. It just seems like it's being cleared up, right? The overhang of what's happened to TikTok has been a conversation now for what, 4 years now, 5 years,
Yeah.
and it tangentially impacts crypto because you have basically all of the new net users coming to crypto are probably going to come through TikTok, right? Because it's the younger kind of generation, which is where the attention economy is, as well as AI. So this kind of combination is great. And also OpenAI yesterday, was it yesterday? They raised $40 billion in one single round. Now they're at a $300 billion valuation, which is just absolutely insane.
I tell you, if you ever do use TikTok, turn your VPN on and get out of the US because it's unusable. If I leave my VPN accidentally set to like a US location or something like that, God help me, you jump on TikTok, bro. It's swipe ad, swipe ad, swipe ad, swipe. I mean, it's just littered with ads.
That's here or abroad?
That's in the US. If
Really?
you go abroad, so set your VPN to Costa Rica, bro, you literally you don't see ads. There's zero ads.
Wow.
If you're in Costa Rica,
So
it's really interesting.
We need to put some tariffs on those ads for coming in the US.
Dude, speaking of stablecoins, there is a massive depegging happening right now.
Oh, let's go.
Justin Sun said that First Digital Trust is insolvent, recommends users to take immediate steps. Because of this, FDUSD depegs 5% after concerns that Justin Sun over insolvency, wiping $130 million off of its market cap. Honestly, anything Justin Sun related, right, is why it obviously causes some concern. This is why when he took over WBTC, Coinbase was just like, yeah, we're not supporting WBTC anymore. We're just going to do our own. I had never used FDUSDC, I think, or FDUSD. Was this the one that was the algorithmic stablecoin that was offering like 20% yields or something like that? I know that was something kind of recently, but I hadn't really followed it. Although Justin Sun's still around since 2017, still causing chaos.
They say he's kind of the ringleader. He's kind of like the guy in China for all things crypto.
Really? Wow. Incredible, man.
So previously, Justin Sun bailed out TUSD after stablecoin had a $500 million hole in balance due to large scale fraud. So I don't know, man. Stablecoins. This is probably, if anything, this is probably even more bullish for the Circle IPO because now you have a trusted stablecoin issuer. They could probably point to this in Congress and say, "Look what is happening over here."
Does Justin Sun live like full time? Is he in China or is he in like outside in Singapore or something like that?
I think he's back in China. I think they did let him back in.
Dude, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine what kind of incredible, like just a killer person like you have to be to navigate that, dude? Like he has to be the smartest fucking savage dude ever to not get just like thrown in a dungeon somewhere, dude. It's incredible. I mean, you think about like how Elon has to navigate the US system to not get like just completely destroyed. But dude, to navigate the Chinese system, holy smack, man. He's just got to be a fucking uber genius, man. Like literally just incredible genius.
So some more information on this FDUSD thing. So Binance apparently is holding almost $2 billion in FDUSDC reserves. But the liquidity and redemption capabilities in question. Severe, I guess Binance was a big backer of this. It says that they heavily promoted FDUSDC or FDUSD after they dropped BUSD due to, I think, the restrictions that were placed on them from the US. Binance phased out BUSD compared. So FDUSD insolvency rumors risk renewed regulatory scrutiny as authorities may question Binance's stablecoin due diligence and risk management. I think Binance will be fine, but
very interesting. This is happening on the same day that Circle announces and the same day that they're, doing a hearing in the US whatever in the US about stablecoins, that this also happens on the same day. And Justin Sun's kind of connected with the Trump organization. That is really interesting. All those things are kind of happening concurrently.
Yep. The peg is now down to 88 cents on the dollar.
Sell it all, bro.
Sell all my stable coins. Get it out now before it's too late. So
very interesting.
Yeah. It's the bear market, these kind of situations will just become more amplified because people have nothing else to do, right? Then just kind of sit there and poke fun at it. Kind of off topic, but a new product that I found, I wanted to talk to you guys to see what your opinion was on this. Have you guys followed this product called Noise XYZ?
I saw it on just briefly, like 2 days ago.
Never.
So you can apparently go long or go short on social sentiment off of trends. I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but I saw some people kind of posting about it. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of interesting. I saw some people going long and going short, like Kaido, and they're going long and short pump fund, social sentiment based off of kind of the things that they had been talking about. And let me see if I could find the different type of account. So I think ICO Beast was talking about this the other day.
About it, I thought.
It brings, right, it's different types of speculation. So for here, you can see this pump fund. I think this is on testnet as well. So it says he shorted pump fund last night thinking it was a little bit higher than it should, mostly due to pretty good buy now, pay later April Fools, which I think Adam actually fell for.
I totally. I fell for like 5 April Fools yesterday, man.
For pump funds, pretty funny.
So I guess it's like you're going long or short on the sentiment, I believe, or the mind share. Yeah, it doesn't posting a short increase the mind share, and create an inverse pressure. So yeah, so ICO Beast basically said he was going short on pump fund mind share. And then somebody responded and said, well, if you're posting about it, wouldn't that increase the mind share?
Facts.
Right. It's like the all publicity is good publicity, kind of thing. Hilarious. So it's still in beta, but I can see people really enjoying and having some fun with this. So like
dude, it's like social sentiment. It's like we are the social sentiment, right? It's like you could just, that is like so ripe for gaming. Holy macaroni. That's just, it could get crazy fun. Yeah.
So this one was like, he went long on Mega ETH. I think they had to do something with like an announcement. So it's like with an announcement, you can go long. It's almost like the company version of Kaido, to be honest.
Yep.
Chris, you think this has legs and legitimacy to stand, or do you think this just gets massively exploited and goes to zero?
There's definitely going to be a lot of like bot farms manipulating the hell out of it. So I don't know what their guardrails are, but attention is really fickle. So there's probably a lot of short opportunities, more so than like a regular market, because everything comes and goes. Humans' attention spans are in total decline. So nothing can really keep in the news cycle for like longer than a week. So a lot of the shit can probably be shorted pretty heavily.
I mean, you talk about cabal, right? This is like the ultimate. Cabals just be able to run this thing up or down. I mean, it's just seems like people will feel like the average player is going to be like, bro, I'm just going to get wrecked here, you know, as the people who control the mind share on Twitter can just manipulate the shit out of this.
So it looks like they are actually building it on top of Kaido. So it says people trade what they understand attention. The purest form of attention is mind share. We're partnering with Kaido to turn mind share into tradable trends. Kaido and Noise both believe attention to be life's most valuable currency. Here's how it's measured in value. Mind share is a new social primitive. And then just goes on to talk about Kaido and says Noise is not just a trading platform. Noise redefines what we value and how we value it. Noise is going to be a trendsetter. And so this is the next generation of SocialFi, I guess, right? SocialFi 2.0. Kaido talked about Ethos at the very beginning. I heard that Ethos was actually taking a beating. I've seen some kind of negative posts about how the Ethos team doesn't follow what people are asking for or isn't granting requests. I don't know. I haven't really participated since the first few days about it. And then what was the other one? Time.fun also seems like it's still catching on. And now you have literally apps being built on top of this info layer, which I think would be bullish for Kaido. But it makes me wonder, you know, how could you actually game this is the question, right? So if you knew there was a major announcement coming, right? When like the people from the team, right? Like, so for example, if I knew Emblem was about to make some crazy ass announcement, right? You would go in here and then you would just go long Emblem Vault, and then the announcement happens, and then you just reap profits, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. You could kind of do it two ways, where you could go along, like if there was like a token announcement or something like that, or announcement and they had a token, you could go long the token and go long the sentiment and profit on both angles.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's but it is so, I mean, it just, if you think about meme coins, for example, as this ability for the timeline through attention to manipulate price, this is like just that, but without the coin, right? It's like, you know, I don't know. It's like you just don't even need the coin anymore. We're abstracting away everything, bro. It's like we're just gonna trade on our thoughts. It's crazy. I don't know. We'll see. This could get traction, man. This could get traction.
I'll play around with it. I mean, it kind of goes back to the beginning of the conversation, is that when price is not volatile, attention generally is. It's kind of like an inverse, right? In a bear market, or you could even just call it kind of a slow period, what we're in now, depending on your beliefs. What are people doing, right? You're farming ecosystems because there's no volatility in price to capture, right? There's no value there. So you farm for a potential reward. Communities are generally just eating each other alive, right? Like the Ordinals community, everyone's just kind of right now just continually fighting each other. You could have easily went short on Taproot Wizards if you could have attention, right? In this kind of situation. And because the social sentiment was that they are extracting from the community. And so I guess it just kind of, it creates a new thing for people to do when price is not volatile. Although granted, it's 100% going to get abused in some way. People will definitely game this. I think this puts a little bit more, I guess you'd have to say a little bit more pressure on Kaido to ensure that whatever algorithm they're using or AI on the back end is doing the best it can. It feels like every time Kaido makes an adjustment, my apps just like literally go to zero. I was getting like 20 or 30, and then all of a sudden, like a day later, it was at 2 for like 5 days. And it was like, I went to go see what happened, and they were like, we made some sort of algo change, right? So if you're essentially like Kaido, you're essentially the oracle. You're essentially like the chain link, right? So chain link aggregates the price of the different dexes and things like that for people to get information. Kaido essentially would be that for the attention economy, for better or for worse, which, you know, they control everything. So anytime something changes in social sentiment, users can get completely wrecked. But granted, I'll definitely play it because I feel like if you feel like you have an edge in the culture and social layer, of crypto, that's probably something that you want to play around with.
This is actually really interesting. If, for example, AIXBT, who I would think is probably as tied into social sentiment as anybody on the timeline, he might be able to make some really interesting calls in this direction. Maybe on the live stream, we explore this with him tonight. Him and Hustle can give us their sentiment analysis. And we can make some bets on what's the website? What is it?
It's noise.xyz.
Noise.xyz. Awesome.
Yeah, it's still it's closed beta, so that's why you have some of these people talking about it. But yeah, you feel like AI would actually be really, like, these AI agents would probably be really good at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have access to that terminal, you could probably make your money back, because a human being able to navigate all this culture would probably be tough. But it does lead to this idea of what is something that humans have access to, but AI does not, and that's insider information.
Yep.
Right. The what's happening in the off-chain world, or what you call the human world, right? The physical world, which seems to be secondary now to the digital world. But that is something that AI will always be second of none to, unless they're the ones that's actually making the decisions, which probably will be happening at some point, right? When do we get our AI president or overlord making all of the decisions? But I would say something to pay attention to. It seems like the second coming of SocialFi, right? Last one was like Friend Tech and Stars Arena and stuff, and this recent wave seems to be growing at a much faster rate with a lot more tooling and a lot more staying power. So stay tuned. I think after that, I think we'll wrap it up for today. It's another solid conversation, continuing to build every day in the world of Agent Hustle and AI, and having a lot of fun doing this.
What's the live stream tonight? What time are you guys doing live stream?
What do you want to do? I'm like 5 Pacific.
Yeah, so 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live.
Live stream. Okay, cool. That's gonna be a banger. That's gonna be a banger.
It seems like people really love the live streams. Every time we tease it out, it gets tons of engagement. I think a lot of people. It's interesting. It's like I can't tell if people are just watching it and just buying tickers, right? Like what they were doing with meme coins. That's probably a portion of the people is watching and just buying it through their own interface. But there's another aspect of people who just want to learn, what it's about and some of the new tools. And every time we do a live stream, we can always tease some of the new stuff that's happening. So you'll get a little bit of some more alpha. Always follow what we're doing, because there's always breadcrumbs everywhere you go. And sorry for those people who just want everything just shoveled and packaged nicely and put in their face. That's not how crypto works, right? It's all about the gamification of everything. If I just packaged everything nicely for you, what fun would that be?
And tomorrow we got Beezy tomorrow on the show.
What's Beezy?
Beezy is it's like Courtyard, real world asset trading through NFTs. So
they're on Flow, right?
I think they're Flow blockchain.
They're
like, what's Flow? No, we'll find out tomorrow.
That's fun. Yeah, I mean, Courtyard is literally still dominating everything. It is insane. They just came in and took over. I think we had them on the shows like a year and a half ago at that point.
Yep.
Remember we had Courtyard?
This month we'll have them on for sure. They were super hyper busy, but we'll have them on this month for sure.
Stop selling them goddamn Pokemon cards. So come hang out. Chris, you have something to say?
No, that's it. I mean, the Courtyard progress is crazy. Their vending machine product is on fire. They're firing on all cylinders. It's cool to watch.
Yeah, we need to get them on back ASAP. I appreciate everyone who joined us today. We'll be back tomorrow learning more about RWAs, how to tokenize real world assets like Pokemon cards, baseball cards, comic books, etc. on a blockchain and trade them as NFTs. That is one of the hot narratives that no one is really talking about. Until then, join us on the live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. See you guys later.
Later, guys.